Did you know Jesus defines Holy Spirit? In Mark chapter 13, verse 11, the yellow highlighted text that you see, Jesus teaches sometimes the words people say are not their own words. The words are from or by Holy Spirit. And in Matthew chapter 10, verse 20, Jesus teaches, Holy Spirit is our Father's word speaking from your mouth. Now, I did some editing in the blue and green highlighting, and the word in, and I had to add the word through because we have four examples of our Father's words. The first example, Luke chapter 1, verse 67, tells us when Zacharias declared John's the Baptist's life, these words had to be said by our Creator, for he prophesied John's life. The second example we have is Luke chapter 1, verse 41, when out of Elizabeth's mouth she declared Mary's son is blessed. These two verses prove their words were our Creator's words coming from their mouths. The third and fourth example are in Luke chapter 12, verse 12, and Matthew chapter 12, verse 28, where Jesus teaches our Creator's words will be said in their mind, and then they are to say his words. Other examples of our Creator's words coming to their mind are in the Hebrew text, where the prophets are being told to go out, and then our Creator will tell them what to say. Thus, Jesus teaches us there is no Trinity. All right. Yeah, that's what I thought. My throat a little bit. What I am doing is I'm recording what I'm doing or my editing for proving the hidden formats by the first writers in the Hebrew text. Now, you can see that this is a 3-verse format here. And what's unique about a 3-verse is this first verse is going to be a sentence or a statement. These two are going to connect together to be a sentence that defines the statement. Okay, now not all of them are perfect because just like this one shows that this king here was 32 years old. 3 tens and 2 years old. That's the way the Hebrews wrote their numbers back then. What I was saying is that this becomes like a period, this becomes like a comma, and then this is a period. Now, this also makes a small paragraph. But when you have a very similar like paragraph, they hook together, they become a larger paragraph. And then you can see I got like double space to show that that's how they wrote through the text. Now, I'm getting closer to the end, so this will be 2 Kings chapter 9. Just want to make sure everything, I'm actually got my voice on. Oh, I forgot to turn that off. Okay. I guess what I'm doing here is I'll do a lot of talking as I'm going through here and correcting the text. And what you'll find is that when I remove a lot of text, this text I'm not sure if I'm going to use or not. That's special. But you can see my editing marks, the blue, I get rid of the text. The yellow is I'm kind of changing, but it's a similar like word. Not too far away from it. When I'm adding a word, I put it in gray text. When I'm adding a word, it will be italicized. And when I'm changing a word from one word to another or adding to it is going to be in green text. So that's my editing marks as I go through the text here. So other than that, I guess I'll just get with it here. Now, Isaiah, the prophet, called one, gird up your loins and take this, and go to, okay. In there, search out Jehu. Okay. Now, let me give you a timeline to consider what's going on here. Jehu is going to become a king, and this is going to be his anointing of become a king. But he's going to be a son from Jehoshaphat, and we'll learn that later. This is a king's timeline, and he's going to kill this king here. They have edited the names wrong, and then every once in a while you'll see another king's name, and it'll be okay. That's the story actually goes with that king. So I do try to say like this here. This I don't need because I know the city here. Now the map for this city is still the best guess I can give when I'm doing when I'm reading the text and trying to find out what the story is actually means. No, it's not in that one. It's not in that one. There it is. Right here is where this is. I've kind of located it. And this brown line is going to be a road that I'm pretty sure is here. And this story is going to talk about this road right here. But the object is he's over here, and this tribe's land is in Gad. Okay, so we're talking about Gad. Here's Samara. So if I go like this is pretty much the same area that you've seen before there. So why didn't that go over? How come? Yeah, I guess I didn't set that up yet. This one as well. All right, now you know the situation of the king's name here, son of Jehoshaphat right here. So I start by putting the smaller corrections that I know that are true if you're going to try to do this on your own. And I would suggest you go to Daniel and just grab the first chapter of Daniel, strip out the punctuation, and that's what I'm adding. Search for. So I'm adding this, getting rid of Jehu. When you arrive, don't need this because it's going to be go to here, so we know that this word is not needed. And if I'm having a 3-verse format, this is what it should have. And then you can see that these 2 lines should be 4 or 3 verses as well. So Elijah, now this is the problem when I'm putting this word in. If I put our prophet in, that means that the writer has to be from Israel. Let me better straighten that part out. There's 2 nations here, and we're talking about up here. So Israel. So if the writer is writing from Israel and recording it, it would be that this is what happened, and he is our prophet. But if he's writing here, from here, because these guys weren't good guys, he would say their prophet. I've done this enough that I know that it's going to be their prophet. Or it would be Isaiah, his prophet. Okay, and this would mean our Creator's pretty much possession. He belongs to our Creator. So I'm going to have Elijah, their prophet, called Now, this has just to be a name. The name is missing right now. It might be missed later in the statement or in the story. But right now, it's prophet called this guy and said to him, this is not going this is not what he's going to say to him. And said, and we know who he is, so, and said, now this is a through verse because this is a statement, and that's two verses to make a sentence. This does the same thing. I don't need this. Oh, by the way, I'm looking for 2 words to make these verses. Okay. I forgot to mention that when I showed you. Oops, here. Let me get this back up. You can see this pattern that I have. 1, 2, 1, 2, added with the least amount of words that I can throughout all these verses. So when you do Daniel, you'll see this appearing, and then you have to stay with it to actually keep working and working and working. So what you'll do is find the shortest verses that you can, and then group the text together, and it will appear to you when you do this, thus proving there are the first writer's format still hidden in the text, and they overwrote the text. So, and said to him, what did he say to him? Something, and take, and said to him, what? There's got to be a word here. It's missing. So, ride, said to him, ride, and take this. If I put the word ride here, it's a good start. So I have something I needed to add here to complete the format. And said to him, ride, and take this flask of oil and go to Ramoth. Now, here's the problem with this. Okay, at Moses's time, he poured oil over the priest's head to anoint them to be able to work in our Creator's tent for meeting with him. Okay. Later we learn, and it comes about in David's time, that David is anointed with oil. But that oil comes from within the tent of meetings meeting room, where they had a pitcher of oil that the high priest would walk in the morning and fill up light the lamps, and then fill up the oil and the candle. There's 7 of these. He'd probably take in a light, he would fill them up, then he would light them. This oil was always in his meeting room for this purpose, but this oil was also used for anointing. Now he is in Israel. So the thing here is he wouldn't have access to go down and grab the oil specifically. So could he have walked down there and got some? It would make more sense, but the story does not tell us this. So it's take this flask of oil and go to Ramoth. When you arrive, search for Jehu, a son from Jehoshaphat. So now you're kind of wondering, well, how come Jehu, who is from Judah, there and uh, with these bad kings and stuff? Okay, these two guys are good kings. This guy become terrible. He's the one that instituted all Israel now to be more sinful when they're onto other gods, because he made Ra, the sun god, their creator. And Ashereth is his daughter, known as the moon goddess. The planets today are still named after gods: Mars, Jupiter. So the thing here, Venus. So the thing here is they would know them as Roman gods, and this is what's called in the stars. They believed at that time, under their practice, that they could become a god and ascend into heaven and become a star, and that was known as their heaven. Okay, so the thing here is when you read YHVH'S, that's what it means. The others that are with our creator, the sun god Ra, are other gods with him now. So this is what he started all Israel believing in. Now over here, we're going to have him, and he's going to now, but I was thinking, or I was starting this off by saying, why is he over here? There is no text that tells us why he is there. Okay. And we just end up with this story, and we do have the right king, because it's going to kill off his descendants. Okay, everybody. So this, you can see they're trying to make it a woman's name here, as it was her son or his wife. Or if they're trying to make it as king, this guy's from a different, not the Jehoshaphat that I was talking about, but that's what they do with the text. I know it's Jehoshaphat, the king from Israel. And that's what they couldn't do when they started corrupting the text. The Israelis, which when I say the word Israelis, they are the ones who are most obedient to our Creator. They were teaching their children their history all the time. So to disrupt the text or just change the text, they would start adding verses like this when it was a 3-verse, and then they would mesh it all together to really corrupt the text. But meshing it and all that, when it happened, was later, after the tribe of Israel, or the nation Israel, had already been taken away by Assyria. And go in and bid him, go and greet him. From among his brothers, and bring him to an inner room. And I got to change this word now, because I know the story and I don't want to come back here and change it. But Jehu is a captain, and he's over there, and the king is actually battling around Ramoth with the king from Aram, which is in Damascus area. So this is not brothers, but it's close enough that I can't say I'm going to add the word, so I'm just going to make it yellow. And bring him to a room. Then take this flask of oil and pour it on his head, and say, this was said, this was commanded by YV, who is our creator's name. I've shortened it down. I usually have that mentioned every time I do every other video I do. I try to make sure that you understand that so I don't have to explain it all the time. And said, this was commanded by YV. I have anointed you king. Then open the door and flee and do not wait. Now this is still his instructions. Okay. But these words are what our creator has said to him. So I use all capital letters to respect and honor our creator. The purple keys here, color. I need to save this from time to time. Now, what I've got is 2 verses here for the pattern, 2 verses here for the pattern, and then 2 first verses here. Now here, his name again is that being mentioned. The attendant. The attendant. Oh, let's see, how can I say this? So this guy that we don't know yet, we know the prophet is Elisha. So the attendant from, I have to use the word from, he's coming and going, so I gotta say from here. Now, when I'm looking up here, when I said I didn't know a name, I'd have to put attendant here because it doesn't, it more or less sounds like the word, his name was going to be later and not now. This attendant, well, I gotta say, I'm adding here. Attendant, and said to him, ride and take, okay. Now this is where it should be his name. So this guy's name, it reads more that it would be here. Now, this would be the doubled space. And these you can see are grouping, and you can see how it's changing the story here. Now, depending on the style of the writer, sometimes he just keeps going and it just runs together. A lot of times when they're changing the story, it will become a 4-verse text. So now this might become 4-verse, or this just might be continuing 3. So I have to watch what I'm doing here and just be aware of that when I'm doing the text. When he came to, and there are the captains right there. So now you know that I did have that right. Then he came to the captains For now, see, this is telling me their army. So now I have it that this writer is writing from Judah. This is so important when I'm doing these, that um, the wording actually defines who wrote it or from which nation things were written. So when he came to the captains for their army, they were sitting, and he said, when he came, I'm trying to think if they're in this, then where are they sitting at? If they're sitting inside a place inside Ramah, then it would be a city. And now we know that they're in like an inn in the city. And they were sitting. See, it would be like they were sitting in a room. And he said, I have a word. See, because Jehu is asking, Jehu asked, and he's asking, which one of us? And he said, for you. And it can't be captain, it's got to be. He wouldn't have recognized Jehu, so that's the other thing. So then he said, I have words. These just aren't any words, so I got to put it like this. For a captain. Because you wouldn't be sitting around by yourself with just your men. He wouldn't know that. He would have asked somebody, where is the captain's sitting? To have this right. Jay asked, which one of us? Question mark. So now I've got 3 verse and 3 verse, and this has to be a special deal here. And he said, for, now I'm going to put those words together and say, and he said, for Jehu. And he rose and went into another room. if I've got this right. Okay, I need to take a quick break, so I'm going to put up Psalms that I found of Jesus, and I'll let you look at those. We take screenshots. Hey, I made it back. Sorry about that. When I'm saying he went into another room, because that's what was. Bring him to a room. Okay. And it went into another room. So this, and I was claiming it was an inn, and I still think that was a little more correct. You don't go into somebody else's house. And the house would be, the way I use the word house is that it has servants. A home is for a family without servants, without a lot of wealth. And they poured oil on his head and said, I'm going to have to put it. Now, S-A. What I do here is I'm moving this word over here, so I make it yellow and I put it down here and I put it yellow so you can see that I'm moving that. Why be commanded? Don't need this. I have anointed you king. Now I'm going to put in, I would put in I'm putting in Jesus here because they were all waiting for Jesus by this time. So this has got to be capital, but it's Jesus. Here it has to be italic, and I can't put it in red or you won't see it. Over his people in the nation Israel. That fuchsia colored word was added in 1977 NSAB, and that's the text I'm using. So now them two become a group. And Israel was not a good nation at this time, especially what happened with this king before, how corrupt he made the people believe on Ra, the sun god. Okay. Annual kill, whoops, off. Well, this is, to strike means it means to kill, so I'm just adding kill off because I kind of know what's going on. He's going to wipe out everybody related to this guy. Kill off those. And this is the intent of the word, so now this was not the king at this time. And this is still our creator instruction. And this is, was it Joram? Is that his name? Joram. This has to be king, not master. And then this, it's your king. To now, avenge has more of a meaning than what you're thinking here. They had a blood avenger. That means that when somebody was killed, someone from their family, the family that the person that died, had the right to go out and kill that person. They also had a city that our Creator designated when they come into the Promised Land, that there was going to be a city named Refuge City, where the one who killed could run to seek justice, to say it was an accident, and then that city held like a court, and then if they found him to be innocent and it was an accident, they would bring him back together with them and announce to him that we have found him innocent. And then he was supposed to make an offering to our Creator for the one of the 12 commandments, thou shalt not willingly kill. So this word avenge is very important. To avenge the blood of my servants. It has to be and prophets, so it's got to be two different people. So this here, I'm saying is adding prophets. I don't know if there's going to be an S on here. That's kind of odd that he would kill prophets. There's not many in Israel. Of my, and this would be anyone who obeys our Creator. So that would be, I was trying to think of another word there. So, okay. Now, and okay, I got double space here. This would be double space here. And I would have a double space here. Because see, when it says this, in the blood of all the servants of YV at the hand of Jezebel. Now this is the wife of this king here that I put, where is it, right here. And she actually only had Nabal put to death, or Nabob, Nadad, something, to get him his property. So I don't think this is being said in the blood of this, but the king is doing this. I don't think this is going to make it. Full is all for everyone, because the word house, and I would put everyone, because you'd have his advisors and kings and the things like that, and everyone, and that kind of is going with this word, and everyone for. See, for everyone for is to die, be cut off, removed. This I've already got up here who he's going to be. So what is this one? Every is to die, to be removed. Okay, I can see that I'm not going to use these two. And it's going to be as, and this whole house means family. So this would be everyone from of my servants and prophets. Or I'm not sure if the word everyone is working right here. This, because down here it's got to be every person for him. So if I've got this, for everyone now it wants to read like this is to die, to be removed. And it means like, and means every person. And I mean everyone. Now, what I do know is that Jehu is going to remove all or kill off the priests. So this could be the word priests or yeah. I'm trying to think of another word, but that's and every priest. Now that's only because I know the story. You'll see that appear later. I don't know if it's going to be in this chapter or not, but now this king um, was from, no, that's a different king from Solomon. I had to have Solomon because this guy has got to kill off all the descendants of him, and he can't be a descendant of him to kill off all of them. So this story is about this guy wiping out all of Jeroboam's. So this has to be him, like an apostrophe S. So to make, I'm trying to still use the word make here. To make Jerome's, like the descendants from Jeroboam. And his son, this guy's name is different than that, which they do all the time. This is actually a prophet, so this will not be right. Okay. Now, this prophecy has already been said that Jezebel is going to die. And the dogs are going to lick up the blood for her killing Nabad something. I gotta shorten up these names sooner or later. That's and this is the wrong city. It's Samaria. Street is the best word I can put in here. Now, I'm not sure if this is needed, so I'm not going to go through and give it all capital letters right now. That's just a reminder for me to check this stuff. Because I think it's already been said, so I don't know why he's saying it again. Oh, then he opens the door. He opens the door of that room. Fled. And this would be now flood. He got back on the horse that he was riding because he was told to ride. So in rode home. Okay, but if I got 2 here, then I got 2 here. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be said. Okay. And went home. As Jehu came out, this has to be a captain. Oh, I gotta go grab some stuff out of the dryer. Hold on. Hello, hello. Okay, it's working. Somehow I got kicked off of YouTube So, but I'm still on Twitch, so I'll keep recording. But I got to remember to repost this. It started raining, and usually a spike like that might affect my power. So this is Captain. I know that. To the captain. Has to be a captain said. A captain asked. Captain asked him, is all well? Thinking it might have been concerning his family, but he should have seen some of the oil on his head. Well, this, if I get rid of this, whoops, not get rid of it that way, but this way, ask him, why did this mad fellow come to you? Now, see, this is a 4-verse. Okay, so we went from a 3-verse to a 4-verse. And he said, you know, answered them, and he answered them. You know, I don't know if it was now you know. How do I correct this verse to get it, because this is going to be here. They said it is a lie. Now tell us, now what is the lie? He said to them, I know, not you know, I know. The male was what? Not joking, but we was doing I know the male was, was he gossiping? Was he, I have to put down was joking. That's the only word that makes sense to me. Now, yeah, okay. Got kicked off of both places. So, and they aren't going to connect. So, yep, got a spike in the power and shut everything down over there, or my internet. And answered them, I know they always joking. And and it's back to a 4 verse. And they said, it is a lie. Tell us now. And they all didn't say this, so we have to have one person whose name is now gone from history. Said, tell us anyway. That's the intent of the word, although I better just say I added it. And he answered them, I know the male was joking and said, tell us anyway. And he said to me, this was commanded by YV. He said to me, this was commanded by YV. I have anointed you king. We'll just say over Israel, but now I gotta come over here and grab that Israel here. Israel. Then they hurried. This has nothing to do. Each man took his garment, placed it under him. Why would they do that? They don't get this. They don't take their clothes off. Then they hurried, and each had their attendant. That's the only thing I can think of that are going to blow the horn. But there actually would be a guard, their own personal guard. No, it's not. Just say that, not really adding it. That's the intent, but it's the shadow of that word. Seems like they didn't have any guards, that these horns they wore, and they, which would be unique to know, by the way. I know a lot of things. I didn't know they would have that horn on them. And this is correction of this word. Let me just add that, get rid of that. What I'm going to do is I put 1, 2, 3, 4. Say is 1, 2, 3, 4. It connects with this, and each blew their horn. Is now our king. So I don't need, we already got this. Now see how this name pulls up? That's why I'm saying that they used to have Ahad up here, and yet now the story is about this king. So, like I said, they try to trick people. But Jehu with his captains, and I added this, conspired against Rome to kill his. Okay. They were now one under this. These guys became this guy. They knew he was now king, so no allegiance to the other king. And again, the story still doesn't tell us why Jehu is over there. Maybe he was there to get battle training. I know, I'm just thinking out loud here. His tribes, kings would own possession. His Joram, with all his tribes, were Now, I think the story is here, not defending Raymond. They were trying to capture Raymond because this guy's father, in the other videos I described, that when Ahab was fighting in Gad, and I guess you guys would know these things here, so let's see here. In Gad, before he died, so this might have been taken over. This I know has already been lost, but I'm not sure if this is lost. This, under this format, this is telling me this is lost, and they're rebattling to take it. So Ramoth might be, no, it has to be up in here. It has to be someplace in here. And there's got to be bridges over this. But the thing here is that's why I've got Ramoth over here. So there actually have to be well, they weren't defending the city. They can't be. Battling for. For. Now this guy's name was just introduced here above. He put a wet, damp cloth on his dad's face to smother him, to kill him, to become king. And if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this, how come this is a 5? How can I make this a 4 without, because this would be important. This would have to be had been. So this has to be, and then this would be out. Now Jerome had been battling for Ramoth, I guess. Samaria. To be healed of the wound. No, I need this one. To heal a wound. Mania inflicted, caused. That's still a 4 verse, right? 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think that's good enough. That's pretty much already been said. Now there's some text here that's missing. Here it is. Now, Jehu's going to fire an arrow at this guy here later in the story, so he's got to be in a chariot. This text might go someplace else, so I'm going to leave it there, but this has got to be fuchsia colored words, and that would have been text that's was added. So let me change this to something else. Add, I guess. This is a piece that I know that it might go later. So what's going on here? I can't edit it until I know the story. If your mind is like mine, so this is not real working when I'm trying to do 3, so it might be tossed out later. Then Jehu rode in a chariot and went to Samaria. I keep forgetting the RI. Now, this is the story that I said is very important to understand where Jerusalem or where Samaria is actually located. Because on all the maps today, they are all wrong when you understand this story here. He was healing. There. Now, this king from Judah came down to siege, and you can't come down if you're the nation below Israel. So this is just going to be thrown out. I'm thinking. I'm going to have to say, okay, thrown out because it's not fitting the story. If I need to add it, I hope I remember this is here. But it's not going to be this king from Judah. Rode in a chariot, and he went to Samaria, for Jerome was there. Now a watchman was standing on the tower. In the tower. And that's at the gate entrance. They would have had towers. Okay, now, did they have towers on the corners of their fortress? And we learned it was a fortress. I don't think they would have had a tower on that fortress. Not sure. But we know that he's there in a different city. And saw riders. Saw a group. I saw a company. This has to be coming. You saw a company coming. And announced. And announced. I see a company. Take a horse rifle. Send a horse rider. Get a horse rider. Get a horse rider and send him to meet him. Let him ask, is it peace? Yeah, everything's off. Sorry about that. So it should stop on Twitch. I forgot that button. But this has got to go with here, and this. And he announced it. I put it here. I don't need it here. And Jerome said, get a horse rider and send him to meet them, and let him ask, is it peace? Now, this could be a chariot. He saw a chariot, but a company might mean a chariot and a group of leaders. This word is a lot more saying than what it is than what I'm seeing or what I would recognize as this word company. So the harsher went to meet. See how it's them or him, them. Say, this is asked by our king. Peace with Aram, Jehu, get behind me, get behind us. I just say, what peace is a question. Get behind us. And the watchman reported, the messenger came to them, but he the watchman reported the messenger came to them, but he is not returning. Writing behind them. Okay, now he sent out a second. So now you're thinking, okay, now if I'm understanding this story, the guard from the tower is seeing this company coming, and he's going to send out a messenger. So he's got to watch them ride down the road to meet the guys. And then he's saying they're not coming. He's not coming back. Okay. So he can't say send out a second one, and he can't really, how far can you see? Okay. Let me put it this way. How far can you see? And that's when I'm showing you this this here area. If you see this structure right here, this is the hills. Okay, they're higher up than these other hills here. So these are the higher ones in this area. He has to be able to say that he's seeing riders come from here on this road that's in this road here from here to here is a long way up. Okay. The sea level is here. These hills could be maybe 1,800 feet, some of them up in this area. So let's say 1,500 feet. But then he's got to go down to the Jordan, which is below sea level. And at that area, maybe he's like 800 feet below sea level. Okay. So the thing here is now how does this is the only way that the writer or the guy in the tower can see all this happening, that he can see all of a sudden dust coming up, that okay, he draws his attention, he sees, and now this is up and back here. This is going to be about 5 miles, I think, on the chart. 5, maybe 8 miles. And then it's going to be about 1.5 miles, 2 miles back here. So the only way that it makes sense that this is where Samara is at, that has got this long distance for all this to now happen, that he's seen them, and the writer went out, and you figure out the time that it took him to do this, and then he's probably met him right about here. Okay, so the thing here is you got to understand what you're reading here. Now this here, I'm saying it didn't happen. It only happened once. To get a horse rider ready, to have the king be told, to get the order, send out the horse rider. Yeah, that was happening pretty fast. It was news about the war. So, and also the king's home was along the wall, so it would have been right next to the guard gate to hear what's going on. I'm putting this so you understand how quick this has to happen, to say that this isn't out. Okay. And this would not be out. This would be out. Then Jerome said, commanded, get ready my horse. And they made ready and his chariot was ready. We know who he is. This guy I don't have. And I'm going to put his name in here. And I'm going to say went out to meet Jehu and met him by land screen. By the land for this is the guy that Jezreel had killed. Wait a second. They took him outside the city, so it's kind of, or where an official held a dinner for this guy, was sent by Jezreel uh, to kill this guy. So was killed. So that's the true answer there. When Jerome saw Jay, he asked, is it peace? I gotta say this, well, I've been doing it this way forever. Came about, happened. I need the word this. Happened when Jerome saw Jehu, he asked, is it peace? And Jehu answered, what peace? Now, this word harlotries is being used by me because I found this word specifically means having adultery by sitting and meditating to see a female goddess is what harlotry this, and it's not a physical contact, it's an image of a supposedly a female goddess appearing to them who are meditating at certain times. Now that I've showed Malachi 2:11 talks about all Judah going on to marrying this daughter of a foreign god. So I went over that before. What peace? What peace is not so long as there is. Okay, so I'm adding this, getting rid of it. So long as there is harlotries those that are onto other creator, onto another, onto a false creator, who are they? And diviners. And witchcraft. Now, if I would say witchcraft. and her witchcrafts will be and her idols. And I say that is what this means. So he answered, what peace? So as long as there is harlotries and her idols. Oops. Turn to flee. That king doesn't exist there. And Jehu drew his bow and shot. Thrown between his arms with an arrow. And it went into, whoops, into his heart. And he by his heart, he's still breathing, I guess. And he sank in his chariot. He died in his chariot. I'm reading the next words down, and I see that I got to have the words he died here. This goes into his heart, and he died in his chariot. Jehu said to this guy's got to be another captain. He said to Bidkar. I'm going to make it by K. And this guy, I'm going to take his name, and I'm going to go way back here when I know I had right here. He's going to be the guy. to the died. Where I remember when you and I were riding together. With, I don't think that's his name. I think I got a different name. His father. This can't be true here. This can't be true. Yeah. Yes, Tim. Or death. He didn't have any sons. That's why the land could be taken over. So that's how. This is the intent of what's being said above. Now this can't happen because I don't have this king. This is his father, by the way. Then so all that's out. And, no, This is wrong. Yes. The 10 and 1 years. 11 years sounds right in the king's timeline here. No. Yeah, 10 years. 11 years. This is his father I was telling you about, and this was his father. Oh, his father was here. Yeah. Okay. He was the youngest. So he is his son. But that's how many years he ruled, not when it happened. I don't think this is going to make it. No, this has to be 4. If this is going to be corrected, this needs to be 4. 10 and 1 years. Jerome. Oh, King. This was right. What am I doing here? It was this I had. Was king over Israel. Now that's reading out of place. That just tells that he died, which might go in that place, in that location. It has to be when Jehu came into Jezebel heard. Out the window. This is why I'm saying the king's house was against the wall. To have a window, it has, and a fort is fortified. It's going to be with wood, not like Jerusalem, which had um, limestone walls, and looked out the window. So the home would have been made out of that. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it's got to be on the wall. As you entered gate, she asked, Didn't say it was all well, because she would have heard. Because this would have been announced by the guard at the gate to what had happened, what he was seeing. On the tower had great views, seen that, so they were very close. This is like on the other side of the river that happened. So here's your kings. Well, the word king is here. This has to be his name. Jehu. So if I got the name right here, she asked Jehu, you traitor? Traitor. So, traitor. Let me see if that'll work. Yep. Jehu, you traitor. You are the king's murderer. He lifted up. He up. Said. Side. Got it. This has got to be said. To look down. Her. I'm going to put guard. Got to be a strong guy to do this. And her guard looked down at him. And he said, throw her down. And Jehu said, throw her down. He down. Yes. You wouldn't have two horses for a chariot, I don't think. I'm thinking just one, so. Horse trampled her. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is all bullshit. So, you kind of know she's dead, so they're gonna bury her. The dogs have got to lick her blood here. Dogs will lick up right here. No, this couldn't have been said by Elijah. He's been dead for a while. We have Elijah, which was his attendant. He trampled on her and said, this. Whoops. By from YV. The dogs will lick up the blood of Jezebel. Okay. This is all wrong. That's wrong. Okay. Now I'll do a cleanup, as you've heard me say this after every time I've done the chapter. And I've seen those words that I got highlighted there to be examined. So if I do this, then save, not disturbing this text no more. Go here. Okay, that's what happened. I wanted to look. Whoops, not yet. Let's do cleanup. Now what I'm looking for here is yeah. So now see, this is the story that's going to be retold here down here later. Although they're setting up this situation that this has happened, and it happened. Okay, so I'm going to have verses missing here. I was thinking that this might go right into this, but this is 2, this is right here, then this has to be 1 space, this has to be 2, this has to be 1, this is 2, this is 1, this is 2, this is 2, this is 1, this is 2, this has got to kind of like this has got to be a 4 verse here. No, this is now 3 verse, so okay. Now this right here, my servants, those who obeyed him, I guess. And then this needs to be only one. This is the two. So just went from a 3 verse to verse. This needs to be 2. Two there, this has to be 1. This has got to be 2, but here now, this is the words that I said were above that I thought were doubled. But this is text. I don't know yet where it goes. So I guess I'll do it that way. But then it would be just 1 space, then it's 2 spaces. 1 space. 2 spaces. 1 space. 2 space. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. See, and then it comes down to, okay. Okay, so this has got to have 2. See, now this is like a note being stuck in here. So if I work this backwards, this is a double space. This is double space. See, then this has got to be moved. Move somewhere else. That's what happens though, because if I didn't, it comes out right. This is just not working. So that's what's going to happen there on that text. That's pretty good. Got quite a bit of a story here. How Jehu becomes king. Now we're going to have more of some of the things I was talking about, killing off the priest, which the pagan priest. So, and that's when he's saying, don't let any one of them escape. And this could be inside the city, Samara. So, anyways, I'm going to stop recording and then go post it, I guess.